When I think about a midlife woman who is making midlife her best life, Judith Baylis immediately comes to mind. This is a woman who has had an award-winning career and now splits her time between Spain and Boise, Idaho. This is a woman who is self-professed, afraid of everything, risk averse. And yet she took some bold steps in the last year and a half and has been able to fill her cup in a way that earning all of the awards, raising the family, doing all the things that were expected of her, she's finding fulfillment in ways that she never had before. She is forging a beautiful new chapter in her life. This episode is so full of joy and sound bites and inspiration for anyone who is thinking, I'm ready to meet the woman who I was always meant to be. I'm ready to step into midlife in a big way. I'm ready to embrace the woman I am becoming. And I'm so excited about this chapter in my life. That's exactly how you're going to feel after listening to this episode with Judith. Enjoy this conversation with Judith Baylis. Welcome to the School of Midlife podcast. I'm your host, Laurie Reynoldson. This is the podcast for the midlife woman who's starting to ask herself big life questions like, what do I want? Is it too late for me? And what's my legacy beyond my family and my work? Each week, we're answering these questions and more. At the School of Midlife, we're learning all of the life lessons they didn't teach us in school. And we're figuring out, finally, what it is we want to be when we grow up. Let's make midlife your best life. Judith, welcome to the School of Midlife podcast. I am so excited to have you here. This episode for me has been a long time coming because when I think of a midlife woman who is doing everything incredible in midlife, you always come to mind. So can you please introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and we are going to dive into all of it.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me. I'm so honored, and what a nice introduction. Thank you. Okay. I'm Judith Baylis. I have been an interior designer here in Boise, Idaho for a million years. Opened a furniture store in 2021 in the middle of a pandemic. That was fun. And now I am 57 years old and trying to figure out what my next chapter is. So, taking some risks and doing all the weird things I never dreamed of in my entire life.
I am so excited to have this conversation because you are doing some really cool things, my friend. Okay, so you're an award-winning interior designer. You won, if those of you who watch HGTV, Judith won. What was the competition on HGTV?
We joke, we call it Shazi Hizzle Shadam, but it was Show House Showdown.
Yeah.
It was a competition show a million years ago. Gosh, I think it's been like 10 years now, where myself and another designer were given 2 identical homes in framing, and we each had to completely design, furnish everything. The homes, we could redo the insides, all the things, kind of like some of the competition shows on HGTV currently. And then the public comes through and votes on the one that they like the best, and then there's a winner. So
that is so cool. So cool.
Yeah.
So you've been doing interior design for a million years, not that long, but I'm just using your words. 2021, you decided to open a brick and mortar store. Was that a long time coming? Is that something that you always had on your heart? How did that happen?
Yeah. So, it's weird. I've always wanted a store. It sounds so crazy. Like even when I was a kid, I would play store constantly. I would like sell everything to anyone who would come in. I would set up shop, all the things. And just with being in the interior design world here, there was no place to shop. Like I would have to go either buy from a big box store, which we were very limited in what we had accessible then, or I could travel and buy things then. I could shop online. But when you're buying upholstery and things for customers, they don't want to, you can't buy upholstery and not sit in it. Like it's a personal feel.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, if nobody else is going to do it, then I have to do it. But that was way too terrifying to start. And I kept saying to everybody, what if I open a store? What if I open a store? And everybody kept saying, girl, no, like
Oh,
retail is the worst. Do not do it. That is crazy. I asked my friends who had stores, they're all like, don't do it. You will regret it the rest of your life. And I'm like, I don't know. And then we were driving home from McCall one day, and this little shop on the side of the road, this rundown old little, there was a for rent sign in the window, and I made my husband pull over, and we looked at it. It was my first little shop. It was tiny. It was maybe like 1,000 maybe square feet, maybe 800. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. My rent was $500. So I'm like, I have nothing to lose.
right.
If it
What's
works,
the worst
it
that could
works.
happen? It's $500.
Totally. If
Yeah.
it doesn't, it doesn't. And I can check the box and be done and get this out of my system completely. So I did. I signed the lease and started buying things and worked day and night painting and doing all the things, and opened my doors. And I don't know what I thought. I guess I thought that I would just fill it with pretty things and people would come in and we would chat and it would just look that way all the time. Well, my grand opening, I had a line down the sidewalk to come in. Everybody came in and cleaned me out. And I had no stock. I had to close my doors in 2 days because I had no stock. Like they literally cleaned me out. So I'm like, okay, I should probably order more things. And that grew. And then the space next door, which was like 4 times the size, came available. So I moved into that space. And then we started carrying little bits of furniture. And it just grew and grew and grew into this beautiful thing that was really more community. I can't explain it. It's just this weird. I'm gonna cry. I don't know. Like people would come in on Saturdays and meet their friends there, or they would see a neighbor that they hadn't seen in a long time, and they would sit down and they didn't have a coffee and a conversation, and it was this incredible thing. But it just kept growing, and so I'm like, what if we went like big? Like, what if we did a real furniture store? Because I couldn't carry very much there. It was very tiny. I couldn't keep back stock really. I couldn't bring furniture in because it was just like a little door. And then I found the space on Fairview and Cole where we are now that's 14,000 square feet.
Much bigger. Yep.
Yeah, right. So I went from like 1,000 to 14,000 in the middle of a pandemic with no supply chain whatsoever. And we just kind of figured it out. We just failed forward day after day after day. And here we are 5 years later, 4 years later.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to go back to that little feather and twine though, because I was one of the people who was in the line snaking out the door on that first day. And I think you said it beautifully. I mean, when I think of that little shop, it was all about community for me. I mean, yes, you could go in and you could find some incredible gifts or some lovely decor items. That was great.
I'm a crier.
Yeah, that's okay. Crying is fine. But it was just this lovely sense of it. It was almost like Cheers for women, right? You know, you go in, everyone knows your name, you're talking to people. And because it was during the pandemic, most of like we were getting to know people online in a way that we never had before. And so then when the restrictions lifted, it was just a like the nicest little place to hang out. It made you feel so good when you were in there.
It shocked me what that place did. I thought, I was going to open a store and sell some pretty things, right? But I was not prepared for what it actually was. The stuff was inconsequential. It was that beautiful magic that happened when we would open our doors on a Saturday and people would like meet their friends there and hang out. And I can't explain it, but I knew when I opened the big store, I didn't want to lose that. And when you grow, there's always growing pains. So obviously we couldn't be that, but we still get people that come in that will just meet a friend, or they're having a bad day, so they come in for a little retail therapy. They just want to be loved up a little bit. And
Yeah.
every single staff meeting I have with my staff, and I have an amazing staff, they're all incredible, but every single meeting I have with them, I'm say the exact same thing over and over again. I'm like, the way you respond to our customers when they walk in the store can make or break somebody's day. And when that person walks in the door, I want you to greet them like they're your best long lost friend. And that it doesn't matter if there's a sale or no sale. If you can make somebody feel seen and heard, like you've done a good job. And if they want to buy a sofa, great, and they're probably going to buy it from you because you're now somebody that's touched their lives in a way. You're not just someone trying to get a sale, which I would never want that energy ever. It's just, so we're trying to bring the little feather and twine magic into Bungalow now, but it's a much bigger it's a much bigger scenario.
Well, I think you're succeeding for sure. As someone who has shopped both stores, they're wonderful. They are great resources in this market, and like you said, there aren't a lot. So
I know, yeah.
And it's you just, when you walk in, you feel appreciated. It's a lovely feeling. If I'm out driving around on a Saturday and I happen to be in town and I do feel like I need a little pick me up, I will stop by and at least buy one of the incredible candles, like to make me feel better. And
I love that.
I think what's so interesting about what you have created is you had people who said to you, "Don't do retail." But you did retail on your own terms. I mean, you weren't open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. It was this Feather and Twine is open this weekend. I got to make sure that I'm in town, and it was a big deal.
Yeah, it was fun. And I kind of liked not being open every day because it created this kind of excitement. We were only open, I think at first, like 3 days every other week or something, like Thursday, Friday. I don't even remember what it was. It's evolved into so many different things. And I loved that because the same people would come every single time we were open. And I loved that because then people started to feel like family. It was totally Cheers, like Norm, but it was Cheers for Women. I think you said it beautifully. That was magical, truly magical. So, did it on my terms, but weird. I don't know what I'm doing.
Beautiful. Not weird. Beautiful. We go from a small store to large furniture store.
Yeah.
Is that still feeling like part of your dream, or because it's such a big leap, did it ever feel like this is a little heavier than I want to take on?
Sometimes, yeah. There are days, like yesterday I had a day and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this to myself? This is crazy. I am almost 60 years old. Why am I torturing myself? I mean, there's just stuff coming at you every day. And, when you come from that sweet little nugget of Feather and Twine where everything is cute and lovely and everybody just loves each other, to like, the sofa comes in and the cushions are wrong and the fabric is wrong and somebody's mad about this and someone's mad about that and they're coming at you all day. You're just like, oh my God, what have I done?
This is not what I signed up for.
Right. But then you still get to connect with those people and you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing. Or people will message me and be like, I have to come in, once a week just to, like, it's my happy place. And I'm like, okay, we're doing something right, so still trying to keep the magic, but navigate like the reality of what this business has become. And trying to figure out where I fit in on a totally separate personal level from all of this, right? Like not from a work perspective, not from a career building perspective, but from a, like, who am I and what do I want as I'm approaching 60? Like, what is this next part of my life going to look like?
I love that.
So we'll see.
I have lost your video. Oh, now it's back. Okay.
There
Okay.
we are.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I was doing too many hand gestures, the thing said. I think I waved
I
it.
speak with my hands all the time, and then I'm
Me
hitting
too.
the microphone and whatever. Um, okay, I want to pivot just a little bit. I want to go in a slightly different direction with you because I I am so inspired by you just taking the bull by the horns and creating this magical midlife for yourself. Was your first trip to Spain ever? Was that 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or had you been before?
No, I had never been to Spain before. And then my husband and I went 3 years ago on a little vacation. And, I've been to Italy, I've been to
Mm-hmm.
Paris, I've been to, I've done the Europe thing, which I love. But I think it was the timing of like when this trip hit in my midlife journey, I guess it was. Both of my kids had left the nest. I had lost both of my parents, and I'm in my mid 50s now. And I'm like, okay, as I'm looking around, like I've raised the kids, I've built the business, I've done the marriage, I've done all the things I'm supposed to do. And here I am. And when we were there this time, um, it just felt, when you walk into something, you're like, this just feels right. I can't
Yes.
explain it.
Yeah.
It hit me, and I'm like, I just need to be here. And I will admit I am a Zillow junkie. So wherever I go on vacation, the first thing I'm doing when my husband falls asleep is I am online, looking at how can I live here? Like I will admit that is me. But this was totally different. This wasn't just this is a really fun vacation. This like rocked me to my core. And it really didn't hit me until I got back home to the US again, into my real life. And I had this weird, like, I don't fit here anymore. Like something, I need to make some changes. Something is not, my skin doesn't feel right on me anymore. I have to shift. And I don't know what that means for me, but I know it's something really big. And I was just obviously freshly into bungalow, so I couldn't just like, burn the place down and go to Europe. It's just
Yeah.
not going to work that way. And I just didn't know. Like I didn't know what that was, but that trip ruined me, and that's all I could think about. Literally every single day was how observing the people there in Europe in general, but in Spain, there's that tranquilo lifestyle that they talk about where they have their afternoon siesta. It's no joke. They do, but it's different. It's not lazy. It's their values are different.
It's intentional.
It's totally
Yeah.
intentional. It's self-preservation, it's rest, it's community, it's connection. They take a 3-hour lunch, and that's nothing. That's just normal. It's what you do there. In the evenings, you see everybody's out strolling. You see little old ladies sitting in the piazza, just sitting on the bench chatting and sharing their day and holding hands or holding each other, linked in arms and just walking and talking. And it's just so beautiful. And then you come back here and you're in your car and you're like eating your lunch while driving and, on a phone call onto your next appointment. And it's the hustle culture. And sure, it's served me well up to this point, but it doesn't suit me anymore, There, they value community and connection, and here we value being busy. Oh, I'm so busy. Everybody likes to tell you how busy they are. I'm so busy, I can't do this. I'm so busy. Oh, if I weren't so busy. And we get our identity from that busyness, from what we do, not who we are. And it just like punched me in the face when I got back. That's just not what I want in my life anymore. So I have to figure out how I can work that in and still have what I'm working in, the chapter that I'm in currently, which is this brand new business and I still have a life here. So yeah, that was a tricky one. I thought, oh, I'll just start doing Tuesdays with friends. And that was what I was going to do. And I was just going to send an email out to everybody on my friend list that I just love but don't make the time to spend time with. And I would just make a big pot of stew or whatever. And my door was open. And on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock, if you felt like stopping by, stop by and we'll just hang out. I never did it. Not once, not ever once. I talked about it a lot and
I
I
love
never
the
did it.
idea of that. I
It's a
mean,
great
writing down,
idea,
okay,
right?
yes.
Tuesdays with friends. And you
Yeah.
just say, stop by tonight. I've made a big thing of spaghetti. Anybody who wants to come by, come by. Um, but I couldn't make myself hear in this world that I live in, my world of Boise and bungalow and this mindset, even though I knew I wanted to make the change, I couldn't make the change in this physical environment because I couldn't shift my brain and I can't explain it. So I said to my husband, I'm like, I think I need to just move to Spain. He's like, what? Like, what? Okay,
As
let's talk.
husbands do. Like, what the
Right?
fuck
He's
are
like,
you
what?
talking about?
Right. And I'm just crying like every day. I'm like, something's wrong. Like, I got to go figure this thing out. And he's like, well, I'm not ready to retire. And I'm like, I'm not really ready to retire. I just gotta I need some headspace to kind of jump into like, who am I at 55 or 56 or 57 or 60? Like, life is going fast.
Yeah.
And, I don't know who I am anymore. I'm not the person I was in my 40s or my 30s or my 20s. I am this totally different entity, and I'm entering into a chapter that I truly, for the first time in a really long time, get to write every single page in my life story exactly the way I want it, right? I'm not raising the kids. I'm not building a career. I'm not proving myself. I'm not, creating something. I've done all of those things. And now I am just looking in the mirror and I'm like, hey girl, nice to meet you, but who the hell are you?
Yeah.
So we bought an apartment in Barcelona and I packed my bags. I've never once traveled abroad by myself, ever. That's terrifying. I don't speak a word of Spanish. I studied French in high school. I should go to
See.
France with you sometime. I
Yeah.
know. And I just terrifyingly did it all by myself. I said to my husband, I'm going for 6 weeks.
Was that 2 years ago?
It was last
October.
October.
Oh, amazing. I mean, the traction that you have.
I know.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so
It's
last
wild.
October, you buy an apartment. You
Yes.
go to Spain, not speaking any Spanish.
Yes.
Pick it up from there. Tell us
Yes.
what else.
Yeah. Didn't know a soul. Don't speak a word of Spanish. Have an apartment with no furniture. I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to say anything. And so I cried for like 2 weeks prior, every single day before I went. I'm like, what have I done? Like, what am I doing? What is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? I'm like, girl, you just got to go. Like, something just kept pulling me. And I'm like, okay, we're just going to go. So I brought my 3 giant suitcases with me and I land in Barcelona. And I'm like, shit, now what?
Right.
I get to my apartment and I had met a lady when we were looking at apartments there, who remodels apartments and then for investors, and she'll like sometimes furnish them and they'll use them as long-term rentals. So I didn't end up buying her apartment, but I had her number and I reached out to her and I'm like, hey, Moira, can you help me like figure out how to furnish this thing? I don't know anything. She's like, oh, sure. She's this little Irish lady. I love her. She's lived in Barcelona for 10 years. She says things like, oh, bloody hell. And I want to eat her for lunch.
Yeah.
She's the cutest. So she got me, like, all of our furniture was back ordered. I picked things out. She would send me the links to the stores where she could get things. I would pick things out. Half our stuff was back ordered. So I showed up. I had a mattress on the floor, and I had a chair. And that was kind of it. And I
Did
remember
you cry more? Like, what am I doing? Or did it still kind of feel like I this is where I need to be?
no, I was
Oh, okay.
terrified. I didn't want to leave my apartment. I didn't even know how to use the lock on my apartment door
Yeah.
because they don't have
Oh
handles.
no, I
It's this
know.
weird, like, I don't even know how to get out of my apartment.
Yeah.
Everything was terrifying. And I've literally spent my life being afraid of things. I know that sounds weird to people when I say that because I've taken risks and opened businesses, but I've always felt like I've had kind of a safety net, if that makes sense. Like I take very calculated risks. Like I didn't, well, bungalow was a big one. I literally had no money left. Like I lost everything opening bungalow, but with a prayer. Um, but I've always been afraid to just do the world as me, period. Not as somebody's wife, not as somebody's mother, not as somebody's something, just me. And here I was in this foreign country, just me. And I'm like, girl, you better figure your shit out. So I made myself leave. I landed at like 8 p.m. There was no food. There was nothing. I don't know. I was afraid to go to a restaurant because I don't know how to order food. So I'm like, I'm just going to run to the little market on the corner and just get some water and something to eat for dinner, and they were closing in like 10 minutes, and I'm like, oh god. So I go in and I couldn't find anything, and I didn't know how to ask, and everything's in Spanish, and I couldn't find the water, and all I could find, I'm like, oh, Coke Zero. I recognized the Coke
Yes.
label.
Yes.
So I grabbed like a 6-pack of Coke, and I got some cheese and some salami, and I go to check out, and she's like, blah 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 bolsa blah 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 in Spanish. I'm like, I don't know what she's saying. and
Oh.
and so she was asking me if I wanted a bag, and I didn't know, and I panicked, and I'm like, huh, no. And I just like pay, and I grab all my things, and I walk home my 2 blocks with my groceries. And I'm also terrified of elevators, and I'm on the 3rd floor, which is actually the 4th floor in Spain. I won't get in the elevator, so I walk up 4 flights of stairs holding my random groceries, and I made it into my apartment, and I just sat down, and I just cried and cried, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, what have I done? But I was also so proud of myself for just like being there, right? It was wild. But I have to say, because I doubted myself tremendously for weeks when I first got there. But 2 things that were magical happened to me. One, I told myself I'm going to say yes to everything, which is not like me. I'm an instant no girl. I'm an only child. I like my alone time. I'm not a social person, which is also shocking to people. I hate a party where I don't know a ton of people. Um, and so I enrolled myself in Spanish immersion school. So I went 5 days a week for 4 hours a day. And my school has excursions in the evenings you could join if you wanted to. And one of them, my first night there was, it was not the night I landed, but that next day. You could go on a walking tour with the school in the evening, and we went up to this top of this mountain where this cathedral is, which overlooked the whole valley. I was tired. I didn't want to meet new people. I was terrified I was going to be this weird old lady and everybody was going to be 20, and they're like, what are you doing? I just, the fear of judgment and failure and like all the things, right? But I'm like, dude, say yes. And so like 5 minutes before they were supposed to leave, I clicked the yes button and I walked down there. I met the most lovely people that night. We just walked and talked from all over the world. We became fast friends. I hung out with them like every day. I made great friends from Germany and France and Japan and Istanbul, like all these beautiful people of all ages. And I got home that night just feeling so like full and joyous. And sorry, it was it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I got up again and I'm like, okay, feeling anxious again. And I was listening to opera, and I don't listen to opera often. Hardly, I can't think of the last time I listened to opera, but I'm like, I don't know why, but I feel like listening to opera. So I'm in my apartment and I'm listening to opera, and it just like felt like such a magical, beautiful, weird moment. And then I went out to get some more groceries. I kind of figured some things out this time. And when I got back, I have those quintessential European, the big French doors, with the balcony. I opened my doors, and my neighbors, because we share like a big outdoor courtyard in Spain, the area that I'm in called Champla, all the buildings are built in a square, and then the squares, the blocks, share a center opening courtyard. Anyway, I open my doors and my neighbors are playing opera. And I'm like, oh, hi, puppers.
Theo.
So I'm like, this is a sign from the universe.
Theo's very excited about the opera.
Oh, me
Lay down,
too.
buddy. Sorry about that.
Like, no, it was just a sign that, like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is a little gift. I'm such a big believer in universal signs and symbols and guides. And they're just like, see, I see you. You're welcome here. I don't know what made me listen to opera that day, but the fact that I opened my doors later that evening and my neighbors were listening to opera also, it's a weird, and I know it sounds like I'm reaching, but it to me gave me like, okay, you're going to be okay.
I am a firm believer in the laws of synchronicity, the universal law of attraction. I mean, the older I get, the more wooey I get, which I'm totally good with. I love everything about this story. Maybe because I see like the potential for me to do something like that. I mean, it's so wonderful when you see somebody go ahead of you doing just such inspiring, incredible things. It makes those of us who haven't done it yet feel like it's possible for us. I think
it's terrifying. And to see somebody go through it who is also terrifying, who's just like you, and come out not only okay, but better. Like that 6 weeks in Spain by myself, being incredibly uncomfortable every second of every day, did more for me than 800 years of therapy will ever do. I can't explain it. It was cathartic. It was amazing. Yeah. So I highly recommend.
So in a year, you have been back how many times?
I try to go back for at least a month every quarter. So I've been back 3 times, 3 times, I think. And I'm heading back this next month again.
And do you still feel that sort of sense of community and connection that you did that very first trip?
Yeah. It's interesting because it changes a lot, but you start to get routines, like I have my special coffee shop, I have my restaurant, I have my walking route that I do. I still, every time I'm there, I enroll myself in that immersion school again. It's such a beautiful way to meet people, and people that you would not normally meet from all over the world. B, maybe you wouldn't even seek them out to be friends with. I have friends that are 23 years old. I love them. I love watching their lives. We're all friends. We've all stayed connected on Instagram and through a group chat. And it's just so beautiful to see these people that you kind of trauma bond with in a way, because you're all there. Like, what am I doing? I don't know anything. You're all kind of in this shared experience together. And to see them like go out into their lives and into the world and kind of know them on this intimate level. It's such a beautiful thing to have that connection with these strangers, essentially. So yeah, when I go back, I still do that. And every time I meet somebody new there that just like owns a little part of my heart. And then my friend Myra has become a very dear friend to me there. And so she's just totally taken me under her wing and showed me around and helped me through some rough spots and takes me to all of these amazing like vintage junk places that I would never, and that's my love language is
Yeah.
treasure hunting, right? So we go antiquing to other villages. I mean, it's magical. It's so fun. And we also pitched a show to HGTV this last month.
Really?
I just bought a second apartment in Barcelona that we're going to do a total gut job remodel on and bring it back to its 1920s glory. So yeah, that was kind of fun. So we got in front of the
Amazing.
producers and they ended up not biting, but I think I might end up doing a YouTube channel or something for that. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
So you can follow along.
And
Yeah.
maybe someone else will pick it up.
Maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
Your husband, is he
Yeah.
as enamored with Spain and the life there as you are?
You know, yes and no. He's coming around. My husband is very type A. He has ADD in the best possible way. He's so high functioning. Like literally, I have walked in. The man is doing an Excel spreadsheet, reading a legal document. He's got an ear pod in on a Zoom call with one person, and he's in a board meeting on another call. I'm like, how does your brain, like, I can't even do one thing. If there's a squirrel, I'm, gone. He's amazing. So he loves working. He loves being busy. He does not sit down until it's the end of the day and then he's out cold. He just gets up and he goes and he's out. He will never stop working. I am ready for this new chapter of a little more balance in my life, a little slower. I want to travel. I want to take dance lessons in every country. I want to take cooking classes in every country. I want to meet every single person from every country. So he'll come for like 4 days to
That is a
Spain with
long way
me.
to go for four
I
days.
know he's trying. Like
Yeah,
that's his
yeah.
effort to show me that he's trying. He'll never slow down. So we've just kind of figured out this navigation of how to make that happen. But I mean, it's weird in this chapter of life, right? When, you spend these chapters on the exact same trajectory with the same goals, with the same path. You're raising kids together, you're building a home, you're building businesses, you're having these friendships, you're, taking care of aging parents, all of these things, and you're on this shared trajectory. And then all of a sudden, the kids are grown, the careers are built, and one of you will inevitably start thinking about life in a different way, and the other one's not quite there yet. That's kind of where we are. And we had to have some really deep conversations about what this next chapter looks like. And, if we are seeing this next chapter in different ways, does that still work for us as a married couple of 25 years, right?
Mhm.
So we had to do a lot of digging and soul searching and, I think we came to the conclusion that we've built something really beautiful. Our foundation is very strong. We have great respect and love for one another. And even though our minds are, kind of in different places as far as what we want our 60s to look like, he's working his way there. It's just going to take him a little longer to get there. I'm already there.
Yeah.
Like I've moved on. But we love each other and respect each other enough to understand that and meet each other where we are and keep supporting each other where we are. So it's been really good for us. But he's not ready to like burn it all to the ground and move to Spain with me. I'm not exactly sure I'm ready to do it 100% full time either. I still love my friends and my life and my kids and my things here, but I know that I have to take that time now to fill that part for myself and myself only, and that's okay. And to give myself permission to do that, that's weird. Because I think as women, we really spend the bulk of our life fitting into other people's expectations of us, or we make it feel like it's our expectation of us too.
Yes.
Somehow I can't explain it. It's just it's a weird, like, you do what you need to do at the time, and a lot of it you have to put yourself on the back burner in order to do the right thing by the people that you love at the time. And then you get to this point in life where the people that you love are good, they're solid, they've got their own thing going on, and you get to step back and really just figure out, like we started the conversation, who am I now? Like, who do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I want my life to look like? What do I want my day to look like? Wow. Without all the expectations on you of what somebody else puts on you for what your day and life should look like. So it's been an interesting journey, to say the least.
Thank you so much for so openly sharing that. There are so many women that are experiencing the exact same thing where,
Totally.
we've built these lives and they're great lives for sure.
Totally. Yes.
But we also get to a point where we kind of want to go in a slightly different direction. We want to explore some different pieces of ourselves in our life. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's really hard for our long-term partners to understand that,
Totally.
aren't we happy here? Haven't we built this
Yeah.
great life?
Right.
And it's yes, and we
Yes.
have a great life, but what else could we potentially do together or do
Yes.
not together and still be
Right.
supportive of each other?
Right. Yeah. That's the tricky part, right? I lost my parents. They were young. They were in their 60s. And I'm rapidly approaching 60, like rapidly. My husband turns 60 next year. And I don't want to wait until I retire to live my life. I'm never going to be as young as I am now, as healthy as I am now, as vivacious as I am now. What am I waiting for? Like, stop waiting. That's really what hit me. Stop waiting. What are you waiting for? Tomorrow may not come. It just might not. So what are you going to do with that today? Like, what does that look like for you? And you may not have all the answers, but take one step in the direction of something uncomfortable, of something that could possibly bring you immense joy. Even though it's scary, you can always try it. If it doesn't work, move on to something else, but try it.
You are preaching to the choir. I want to just print t-shirts with all of these golden nuggets that you are throwing out. They are incredible. Um, I also lost my dad in his 60s. He had a heart attack and died at 66. His mother had a heart attack and died at 66. I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's just
No. Yeah.
interesting.
Right.
Do you think that you would be in this place where you're trying to figure out who you are now if you wouldn't have experienced that loss?
Probably not. I think that was a huge wake up call for me. Huge. My mom was very young. She had me when she was 18. So I'm not that far off in age. She died 10 years ago. I'm 8 years away from that. Battled cancer for 4 long, grueling years, miserable. All she wanted to do was retire and travel. And as I experienced that with her, and how she couldn't do those things, and how her final part of her life was miserable, and how she regretted missing out on those beautiful experiences because she was waiting for that someday. And then my dad got cancer at the same time. So both of them were like going through it. And I'm like, I'm not, what am I waiting for?
And you're an only child. So
yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. I need to reclaim my life for me. I need to stop waiting. I need to stop being afraid of my own shadow. I need to get out of my own way and just go for it. The only thing I have to lose is by missing out and not trying, right? If it doesn't work out, doesn't work out. But if I don't do it, I don't want to be 80 years old looking back at my life filled with regret of the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I'm not living my life that way anymore. Period.
Boom. I don't know how to say it any better. I don't know how to wrap it up in a better bow than that. I just that it's so incredible. I appreciate you being so open, and this is incredible. Anything
Oh.
else you would love to share with our listeners that we haven't talked about that would inform kind of how you are
Yeah.
moving through the world now as you're trying to figure out what's next for me? Who am I?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. And it's a different journey for everybody, right? This was my personal journey. These are the things that I've experienced and that I needed to do for me, but it may look totally different for you or somebody else. But I think truly the one thing I've said it like 15 times now, but I'm going to say it again, is just do it. Take the risk, take the chance, jump in with both feet. Don't look, just do it and see what happens. Like you will find like strength and beauty and things in yourself that you had no idea were in there. And it's the most incredible, magnificent feeling. It's empowering. It's amazing. And as you are aging and we start fearing what's to come, especially as women, as you know, we all start kind of falling apart and menopause and all the things. Damn, girl, like this is your chance. Get out there. This is your power pocket. Like get in there and try it all. Don't be afraid.
I couldn't love that more. Everything we do at the School of Midlife is about seizing the opportunity and really making it count, and just
Yes.
trying some things, because
Yeah,
just because you try something, it might not be for you, but at least you know, instead of
totally.
delaying it, waiting for retirement, waiting for someday or the time is perfect. Just
Yeah.
toe dip. You don't have to move to Spain forever, but maybe you could go for 6 weeks and see if you like it. Try it on for
Totally.
size.
Yeah. Yeah. Do something on your own. I mean, that's the really scary part because I think, again, as women, we kind of wrap our identity in our family a lot of times. And take yourself out of that for just a day, a week, make a date with yourself. Take yourself to the movie.
Mm,
Go to dinner and a movie by yourself. I mean, start there. See what that feels like. It feels uncomfortable at first, but then you're like, I can watch whatever I want. I want to eat whatever I want. I have like great company for myself. I think you'll find incredible power and energy in just being your own best friend sometimes. It's not a bad thing.
not at all. No, I not at all. It's a great thing. In fact, this conversation honestly it feels just like walking into one of your stores. The connection, the
Oh,
community, you just feel better. I always feel better after I'm around you, Judith. You were just
oh.
a gem
You're
of a
gonna make my
person.
waterworks
No, no, no,
happen
no,
again.
no,
No.
nope. We
No.
end every episode of the School of Midlife with the same two questions. Number one is, if you could go back to your 20-year-old self, knowing
Oh,
everything that you know now, having the experiences, all the wisdom that you have accumulated, what advice would you give her?
you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna be just fine. Stop worrying about everything.
I think
Period.
that's great advice for every part of our life, right? It's going to work out. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not how you planned, but it's gonna work out.
Yeah. Love that. And then finally, what have you loved most about being a midlife woman?
Just reconnecting with me again for the first time in a long time. And yeah, it's uncomfortable and weird, but it's really incredible. Really incredible.
What a great experience. I've absolutely loved this episode. Thank you so much for being so open.
Thanks for having me.
Sharing your story. I know that women are going to just fangirl out about you as much as I do. You're such an inspiration. So thank you so much for being here.
You're so kind. All right. Thank you, Laurie. Always great chatting with you. Until next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the School of Midlife podcast. It means so much to have you here each week. If you enjoyed this episode, could you do me the biggest favor and help us spread the word to other midlife women? There are a couple of easy ways for you to do that. First, and most importantly, if you're not already following the show, would you please subscribe? That helps you because you'll never miss an episode, and it helps us because you'll never miss an episode. Second, if you'd be so kind to leave us a 5-star rating, that would be absolutely incredible. And finally, I personally read each and every one of your reviews. So if you take a minute and say some nice things about the podcast, well, that's just good karma. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you right back here next week when the School of Midlife is back in session. Until then, take good care.